Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's live trading session, as well as a review of the week. The week has been very volatile and hasn't worked out for me. I suppose for those of you who've been with us for some time, there's no surprise there. We are trading towards record highs. We've touched a record high in gold this week. The DAX has posted regular record highs, and these are markets that I find it very difficult to buy into. So I've been short the markets throughout most of the week, and that has been quite punishing on certain days. I've also certainly been in trades too long during the course of this week. So we'll have a look at the trades in a while, but for the time being, we're about 8.5 minutes out from the opening bell. We've had some industrial production numbers just come in just recently, which have been on the positive side. Retail sales numbers about an hour ago were on the negative side. We've seen gold sell off aggressively today from 26.38, 39. Back down to about 26.16 where it was just recently, but we've bounced back from those levels. I've sold into gold again a little bit early, but I'm only going to hold the one position, so I'm prepared to let that go a little bit. It's currently trading, well, we went all the way down to 29.16, we're back at 29.17. So it's volatile, it's very fast, and you probably want to use limit orders to get it in and out of that market. Responding and reacting in real time is very difficult today. In terms of the other markets, the Dow is about where we closed yesterday, around the 44,700 level. The DAX market, again, not too far off where we closed yesterday, but a little bit off of its record highs that it set yesterday, up around that 22,600, 22,700 level. We'll just have a quick look at that now, to be honest. So if we put this onto a 1 hour chart, we can see the record highs that have traded over the last day. So we did get up to about 22,650. So we'll continue to see how that moves for the remainder of the day. It is a Friday. Sorry, my screens have just frozen there. It is a Friday. We have Donald Trump signing executive orders again this afternoon. I don't know if anybody really knows what potentially he's going to do. There is an acceptance over the last few days that the tariffs are on hold, but he could well come through and hoist something surprising on the market. And the last 2 Fridays we have seen a bit of a sell-off as these executive orders have been signed. I do believe that so far he's shown a certain desire to issue some of his more volatile, his more sensitive executive orders on a Friday. So in terms of the currencies, the dollar has weakened during the week. We're trading at 126.20 for sterling, just under 105 on the euro. So in terms of these markets at the moment, I am short the Dow, I'm short the DAX at slightly less favourable prices, and I've just recently gone short of gold as well. Nothing in the currencies. Just in general terms, excuse me, sorry, I have a bit of a cold. Just in general terms, in relation to how the markets are faring at the moment, we do have Treasury yields going lower. The reason for Treasury yields going lower is that some of the data that we've seen during this week, and not all of the data by any stretch of the imagination, has not necessarily been favourable to inflation per se, but some of the detail of how those numbers are put together are suggesting that maybe inflation isn't quite the battle that some people are perceiving it to be at this particular moment. Some of the detail that you can extract from the PPI data that we saw yesterday, which was hotter than expected, if you extract some of the detail, it would potentially suggest that the PCE data that we're going to see in the coming weeks is going to be better than people expect, and that inflation isn't quite as stubborn as some people are pointing out. That could be seen yesterday in the Treasury yields, which came down significantly, but we have seen sell-offs in the majority of these markets as we go through the afternoon sessions, and as I've said already, the dollar is noticeably weaker than it was at the beginning of the week. So we'll keep an eye on these markets. We'll come back, so we'll just have a quick look at the DAX whilst we've got a bit of time. You can see those record levels that we traded up to during the week. If you look at this on a daily chart, you'll see that the move has been fairly spectacular, coming off of, probably wouldn't use these candlesticks, but from here, you know, we've got a fairly steady ascent. We're probably looking at a pullback to around 22,200 before potentially this market can move higher again, but a fairly solid movement to the upside, or a very solid movement to the upside with the DAX. I know I've sold into it on a number of occasions. I do still think it's a country that could be at jeopardy from some of Trump's tariffs if and when they come through. And with this rally as well, if we let me just see if we can bring in some RSI on to let's just go here. Sorry, I'm not getting what I'm looking for. There we go. So if we just bring the RSI up on here, we can see down the bottom that we are, and this is a daily chart, so it's quite strong. We are veering towards that 80%, where we are at that 80% level, which would suggest that we are overbought. When we've been at that level previously, on the previous two occasions, we've sold off from this point. So I still want to remain short the DAX at this particular point. Just going back through to the other markets, got less than a minute now to go to the opening bell. So we'll gold, not the Dow's come off a little bit here, moving back to the last entry point that I had, which I think was at 675. I have a limit in there to close that market if it does go down a little bit further. So we'll just watch this on the opening bell. Not going to trade right now. I already have those orders in and it's at market now. Not quite open yet, coming down a little bit. So I think I've a take profit level in around 648, I think, something like that. We're pushing closer and closer to it. Obviously a bit of movement here as those orders are coming into the market. I think we're probably just about to open back up to 675. Slightly more buyers coming into that market at this point, and we are open now. So we've traded up towards 700, and certainly more buyers in the market at this particular point. Some of those opening orders pushing through at this point, but we're not seeing it running away above 700. There does tend to be a bit of a ceiling there at this time, but it's fairly decent movement to the upside. So certainly the buyers taking control of the market in these early stages. We'll just have to see whether that continues to see this market push on during this point. So I'm just going to ready my phone in that I am short around that 675 level, so I'll just continue to keep an eye on that whilst we're talking about the remainder of the markets and seeing how they're performing as we move through this next little bit of the session. So gold trading around that 29.27 level. Gold, the Dow has started to push back towards that 675 level. Just about in profit, nothing to write home about at this particular point. Trading 660 now, 654. Fairly close to where my TP was. I don't think we went through it, but we're fairly close to it. I think we could have gone through on that occasion, but not getting any trade notifications. Trading right on my TP level there, and we've just had that trade close. So it closed at 44,646. So 29 pips on that particular trade. That was the trade that was done just before the opening bell. We are still short gold at 29.2260 just prior to the bell as well. So we'll continue to monitor that. We're seeing the DAX coming off a little bit. The Dow is probably operating in a 50 to 60 pip range between 44,640, 44,710. No real breakthrough on the upside. Gold continues to be very fast. I still think there is a bias to the downside. When we look at gold, just have a quick look at it before we move away from this. So we'll look at it on a 4-hour chart. You can see that record high up around 29.41, which occurred overnight on Wednesday, I think it was, and then we've been up towards 29.39 during the course of the day before selling off today as well. So fairly strong ceiling at this point around that 29.40 level. Again, it's the weekend. People are going to be looking to reassess their risk profiles ahead of the weekend, so there is potential for gold to push higher again. My preference is to stay short gold. It's worked well for me so far today. I don't want to get preoccupied with it, but it has worked well, and hopefully we'll see a push lower in that market during the remainder of this afternoon. Not going to overtrade. Just looking to maintain that short position if I can in gold throughout the afternoon, but just one position at a time. Dow's pushing back up towards that 44,700 level. We'll just have a quick look at it here before we finish off. Excuse me. Dip down a little bit there. If it does get and trade back above 44,700, I think I'm a seller at those levels, so we'll continue to do that. The DAX is coming off a little bit, but nothing aggressive at this point. And the currencies are reasonably firm, with the euro still around that 105 level and sterling holding firm about 15 to 20 pips above 126. So we're fairly close to that 46,700 level. In the Dow, it's just moved away again, unfortunately. I moved away too far now, so I think I'll back away from those trades for the time being. I will get back on Telegram very, very shortly and look to update you in relation to any more trades. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll speak to you again straight away on Telegram. Thank you.